In a very busy city full of life, there was a lady named Vanessa. She was so beautiful that no one could resist her. Every man who saw her wanted to be with her. But there was a dark secret about Vanessa. The more men she slept with, the more beautiful she became. However, any man who slept with her faced terrible consequences. Vanessa lived a life of luxury. She always wore the finest clothes and bought the most expensive things. Even other ladies admired Vanessa a lot. They couldn't figure out what made her skin glow so beautiful. Whenever she walked down the street, people couldn't help but stare at her. It wasn't just men who were drawn to her beauty. Women also marveled at her flawless skin and perfect look. They all wondered what her secret was, but no one knew the truth. One day, Vanessa went shopping in a big supermarket. At the same time, a young man named David was there too. David was the only son of Mr. Michael, a rich man in the city. David had everything: money, good look, and a bright future. But when he saw Vanessa, he was instantly drawn to her beauty. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. David couldn't stop looking at her. He wanted to talk to her. So he walked up to her and said, "Excuse me, miss. May I pay for your items?" Vanessa looked at him with her sparkling eyes and smiled. "That's very kind of you," she said. David's heart raced as he quickly paid for her things. After leaving the supermarket, David offered to give her a ride home. Vanessa agreed, and they got into his car. As they drove, they discussed together, but there was a strange tension in the air. When they reached a quiet street, Vanessa asked to be dropped off. David was confused, but did as she said. Before getting out of the car, she handed him her phone number and said, "It was nice meeting you, David. Call me sometime." David couldn't stop thinking about Vanessa. Days went by and he tried to focus on his life, but his thoughts kept returning to her. He planned to call her, but something unexpected happened. One evening, while David was at home, there was a knock at the door. Surprised, he opened it and saw Vanessa standing there. She looked even more beautiful than before. "Vanessa, how did you find my house?" David asked. Vanessa just smiled and stepped inside. "Does it matter?" she said softly. David couldn't resist her. He was completely under her spell. That night, he slept with her. But the next morning, when he woke up, he realized something was terribly wrong. His manhood is missing. David was in shock and couldn't believe what had happened. When he turned to ask Vanessa what happened to his manhood, he could not find her. She has also disappeared. David learned a painful lesson. Not everything that looks good is good for you. From that day on, David's life was never the same. So, lesson from this story is that not everything that glitters is gold.